program called Friends of All Nations, and we taught English to the Vietnamese who came there in large numbers. But about 85 they all moved to Victoria, would you believe? They thought it was sunnier over here or whatever. But so we were in a very good position. We had a request from the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees if we would use our program to bring what they said to us, Denise, my wife and myself, was this new people from Laos, and they're called Hmong. And I said, Hmong? Who are these Hmong people? So, didn't have Google then, in '86, right, we didn't have Google. So I had to do a fair bit of research and found out about the Hmong people. And you know, I could have met them many, many years earlier if my number had been called out in the Vietnam War. I may have very well met them then, but anyway, I didn't get to do that. So we started working with the Hmong people, those first lot of refugees that came, pretty much for the clothes that they stood up in, a few small possessions, and we got them into housing, we got them into doctor's appointments, went along to the medical appointments with them. Oh, not loud enough. Oh. Went along to the medical appointments with them, thank you Dr. Powell, with the doctors, and because of the language barrier it was very difficult. So we used diagrams for the Hmong people to show them where the pain was, if there was a pain in wherever it was. And by doing it that way we picked them up and take them to their appointments. In those years, the Hmong ladies were having problems with the hospital, and fortunately I knew a couple of doctors there and some of the nurses, and the Hmong ladies wanted to have their babies in a certain way, and we all know what that is. And of course the Australian way of having babies is the lady on their back, and not so with the Hmong people. So we were able to convince the doctors in the hospital to lay down the mattress and let the Hmong ladies have their babies the way they traditionally have them, and that was pretty cool. We got involved in many programs, teaching them what to do. Can you imagine refugees coming to a new country where they go to the toilet and they press a button, it's all gone. They never had that in the refugee camps in Thailand on the borders. And they'd walk into a room and flick on the switch, and suddenly these lights would appear in different rooms. Marvellous stuff for new refugees, not so marvellous for us. And then to go out into the kitchen and just turn on a little button, and then suddenly there was heat there that they could cook with. No more chopping wood, no more smoke like we see in Laos today. And so you can imagine there were quite a few accidents, and many Hmong ladies got their fingers burnt. Not so much the husbands, because they don't do much cooking back in those days. And but we eventually got over that. And so our journey continued. Unfortunately, my wife died last year, and we had been back to Laos in 2011. And to go into the villages, to go up around St. Juan and Luang Prabang and see the villages there, the Laotian and the Hmong people, the way they live, it is just heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. It affected my wife and myself a fair bit. But I summoned up the courage to go back again just last year on my own with some Hmong people from Hobart. And we had a great time. We visited some other places south of Bien Char. We went right down to Pak Say, 800 kilometres south. And we saw the beautiful waterfalls and the Mekong River and just a whole stack of other stuff. But our journey has been wonderful. I've often said to the Hmong people that you've blessed me more so than I've blessed you. And it's been a journey, just a wonderful journey that I wouldn't trade for the world. And I still continue, I will work with the Hmong people and the Laotian people as much as I can. And in the next few years I'm going to concentrate some of my efforts in Victoria. We only have a small Hmong community in Tasmania now. I think they look after about 92 or 93 people, which is equivalent to about 12 or 14 families. And I know that there are many people here in Victoria that perhaps I could help. I do know some of them, and I'd just like to be involved in any way that I can. My original talk tonight was supposed to be as a financial advisor, and here's all you're going to hear from me on that. Yes, I'm a financial advisor, and yes, I have a lot of Hmong clients, and I want to say this: no man should leave a debt in his life. Think about that. Happy to talk about it. I specialise in superannuation and investments and in life insurance, and we do a lot of work with the Hmong people in Australia. I work in Cairns, Innisfail, Brisbane, Hobart or Tasmania, and also I have some clients here in Melbourne. In closing, I only had a 10-minute gig and I think I've almost used that. In closing, I just want to leave you with these few words. When I was about 17 or 18, I was in a bookshop and I saw this little plaque and I read the words on it, and I purchased that plaque and I hung it in my first office. It's now hanging in my bedroom. I've had it for more than 40 years. And I've tried to live by this principle all my life, because I work with Christians and non-Christians. In fact, I've got more non-Christian friends than Christian friends, and I'm pretty pleased with that, because I sit very comfortably with it. Here's what I want to leave you. The words of this saying goes like this: I shall pass this way but once. Any good deed, therefore, that I can do for my fellow man, let me do it now. Let me not defer nor decline it, for I shall not pass this way again. Watch out.